going to talk about what it really takes to train a virtual assistant from scratch. So if you're an entrepreneur, coach, women coach, agency owner, service provider, then this message is for you. If you're just starting out and also trying to weigh if you are going to be getting a virtual assistant or a service provider or not, so that your life will be easier. Because at the end of the day, we did not become an entrepreneur just to end up doing it all ourselves, right? We all have a goal as an entrepreneur to be able to scale, to be able to see our hard work flourish, to be able to impact more people. And you cannot impact more people if you are doing everything on your own. And that's for a fact. All right. So what does it really take to train a virtual assistant from scratch? And if you don't know me, my name is Sheena Romero, and I have been a digital marketer, digital marketing agency owner for more than 3 years. I have been helping women launch their coaching offer. I started out with digital marketing, launching websites for clients, helping them with SEO. And my goal was to always help build clients' businesses. And it's not until just over a year ago, that I have found myself serving women coaches to be able to launch their coaching offer through live events and help them generate income from there, helping them make impact on other people's lives. So if you are that person who someone's life by sharing your knowledge in health or in spiritually, mentally, emotionally, being able to coach someone, life coach. You can be life coach, you can be health coach, you can be systems coach, business coach, whatever it may be. If you're starting out, that's going to be the hardest thing to do. But when you start out, you also have to prepare to scale. And the reason why is because it's going to be complicated for you to be trying to show up and also fixing the systems in the back end. And I know that for a fact because I was there. I had a hard time showing up when I was starting out, when I launched this Done For You support for coaches, because I was too fixed in the systems and how to do everything, the results, when I could have been hiring at that moment. So I don't want you to have to go through that. I don't want you to have to spend your money on, getting more and more coaches, but you haven't really implemented the methods, the systems, what works from your one coach. All right. So first things first, you have to consider the time. Right? You'll spend hours explaining your systems, setting expectations, and reviewing their work. So if you have a VA and you hire them for the system, for social media management, for just about everything under the sun, then especially if you are starting out too and you're trying to test things out as well, just expect that you will set aside time to train this person or your virtual assistant. It's just a must. And it will be easier if you have a business manager or an operations business manager or project manager, because they will be the one training. But for right now, if you have a virtual assistant, then you have to set aside some time to teach them, right? And then number 2, you have to have clarity. You'll need clear SOPs, templates, checklists, so they don't guess their work through tasks. So if you have a system that you're doing right now, like repetitively, because that's the first thing that you will be delegating, right? The things that are repetitive, right? Checking your inbox, clearing it to 0, DMing people to build your pipeline. What else are repetitive? Posting social media. So anything that is repetitive, you have to be able to give your virtual assistant clarity on what they need to do in order for them to accomplish and achieve the outcome that you want, right? And this is where we get frustrated, because we give instructions, but not enough for them to be able to achieve the outcome. And I've encountered this. I've seen so many clients get upset because they expect this, but the information that they give, this is what they expect, but the information that they give to their virtual assistant is this much. And I don't blame them because they're not familiar too. Right? So if you are a coach hiring a VA with somewhat knowledge, just a little bit of knowledge about Go High Level, and you're expecting the automations, the funnels, everything to be created, and you don't know how to create it yourself, then you're going to get frustrated. And the reason why you're going to get frustrated is because you don't know the how as well, right? So you have to have clarity before you can teach something, right? So if you're delegating social media posts, what are the kind of posts that you want to put out there? What are your messaging, content creation? How do you create them? So the more clear you are with instructions, with the expectations and how to do things, the more you take time to give your virtual assistant, your team instructions, the more clear it is, the more likely they are to achieve the outcome that you want. So I'm just going to give an example, right? So one client was expecting us they said like they're looking for this specific information in their sales page and also from the emails, but there's no specific, what are you trying to mean when you are expecting this? Because the template that was given to us was different from what she wants to achieve, right? And then she had to clarify, this is for information for the audience to know, how long is the workshop or the masterclass or the live event. But had you told us that it was that 1 hour or that specific direction is for a purpose, then we're not going to be testing and failing. Like we'll know exactly what you want and be able to deliver it. So in order for you not to get frustrated with your team, you have to give specific instructions. And even with myself, and I'm not telling you something that I don't do because I do this, right? I have managed dozens and dozens of people. I became a manager, a collections manager, risk assessment manager. And the more instructions you give to your subordinate, to people who are reporting to you, the more they will be successful and the more you will get the outcome that you want. If you half ASS your instructions, then you cannot expect people to achieve the outcome that you want. So time, clarity, and the next is patience. I cannot express this enough. Patience. And sometimes, I'm going to tell you, there are times when I want a specific outcome and I don't receive that from our team, and it gets frustrating and it takes time. I sit back. Of course, I have OBM, so we bounce back ideas. But when I get frustrated, I step back and try to evaluate, where did I miss as a leader, right? Because you have to expect that it can be trial and error unless you guys have process already. Your virtual assistants, even you will make mistakes and you'll have to correct and refine, right? But don't ever, this is the must not for me in treating your team. Do not, there's a right way to talk to your team. And it's not, I have managed people here in the US. I've managed people in the Philippines. They're all the same. Believe it or not, it's all the same. It's just a matter of you having that patience, taking that time, having that clarity in giving your people directions. So even with me, I want specific outcome, and sometimes I get frustrated if the outcome is not achieved. So first things first, as a leader, I will ask myself, did I give them enough tools? Did I give them enough clarity? Did I walk them through in order for them to achieve the outcome that I want? And if you did, and if you've done that, and sometimes it takes multiple times, it doesn't matter if your team is not in the US, it's remote, it's just the same, it's the same people, right? It's the same concept. because I've trained people here in the US and, they would have the same thing. They would do the same thing. It's not until you are very clear with your instructions that they will be able to achieve what you want them to achieve, right? So you have to have time to train them, clarity in your instructions, patience, because they will make mistake and it's going to be frustrating for you, because especially if you're testing this yourself, right? You're testing the method. You're just new to launching. You just hired a coach and you're trying to do this yourself. And you don't want to have to go through the systems. You don't want to have to put the pieces together yourself. And that's why you hire people. But at the same time, you still have to train. The next is systems, right? Without automation, you'll be stuck managing reminders, follow-ups, and bottlenecks. So I'm going to make this clear, right? Because you can have systems and that system can be for a prior whatever launch you're doing, right? So the only system that will stay consistent will be your lead magnet. So if you're launching a lead magnet, that's what you're going to be using. So you can connect for example, your Facebook with GroupKit to connect to your CRM, Go High Level, or GroupKit, or what are the other email provider, right? So that's what system that you can count on that system. But if you're launching, unless you're launching the same topic, then you'll have to create or duplicate and recreate a workflow, an automation. And I'm saying this because that's what we do all day, all night, right? So the only thing that's static that you can rely on, a system, is your lead magnet. All your lead magnets, you can use that as a system. Even your messaging, like the ManyChats, you have to connect it to a landing page, to a gift freebie, or whatever your call to action is. If you launch an event, you have to update the dates because the dates are not going to be the same. So even if you build a system, you will have to revamp it because of the failures, the successes, the feedbacks, and then you improve for your next launch. But having a system will help you and help your VA be able to scale, right? Especially if you're just limited to one VA. Right? Having a system that's in place will help you out. Having Google Docs ready to tracking all performance. And of course, it's going to be overwhelming at first, but you take one step at a time. Okay. So your reminders, managing your reminders, your follow-ups, anything that's making you stuck when you were by yourself. Right? But you have to delegate what's repetitive, what you just cannot do anymore. So when I started out delegating, I started out with, not posting. My VA was Keith. Hi, Keith. If you're watching, I love you. She was the first one, but I've trained her way before I rehired her. So I delegated to her, my email, then adding people in our Facebook group and, and so on and so forth. I didn't make her do the systems because that's not her forte. She's more of reaching out to people. She did the posting of our hiring of VAs. She was overseeing different pieces because after that what's the next hire that I made? It was my project manager, and I had to teach my project manager. With me, like if you are a coach, don't pay attention with the system that I'm building. You can have one VA to try to build what you're trying to build, because if you're a new coach, you will be following your coach's direction. So you are growing with your virtual assistant. If you cannot hire a virtual assistant that's really good, I mean, it's not easy to find a virtual assistant. Maybe I just have a a few who I know who can do go high level and social media posting and just everything, like, and you'll get frustrated. So anyway, so the systems, right? Having the systems in place that your VA can manage, and then leadership. This is just the most important thing. You're not just assisting or assigning your tasks. You are mentoring someone to understand your brand and your goals, right? So you're leading someone. You're a leader, right? So before you lose patience with your VA, with your virtual assistant, that's what you have to do. Like, you have to make sure that you've already taken time to train them. What did it have clarity? And were you able to really walk them through to achieve, what you want them to achieve, right? So being a leader is, something that you have to develop, because you don't usually have that when you're starting your business. You won't have that patience. You won't have clarity. You won't have that system in the very beginning. So you are growing with your virtual assistant. And so the leadership is something that you will learn along the way of trial and error. Now, if you don't want to go through the trial and error and training from scratch, building from scratch, from zero, then I have a proposal to you. Our team does all of that. Like, you don't have to go through the trial and error. You don't have to go through getting frustrated training people, because once you give us your photos, once you give us your information, your brand voice, we take it from there. And our system is proven, right? It can be in any industry. You can be in real estate investment industry. You can be in faith-based health. We'll follow your brand. We'll co-create with you. So if you don't want to have to go through all of these things with your VA and wasting time, if you want to just be present to your leads, to your students, retain them, and be in the zone of your genius, then you can contact me, because that's our genius. So again, going back to what it takes for you to train a virtual assistant. Take the time to train them, right? Whatever coach, whatever system your coach is building or has built that you want to follow, give that to your virtual assistant. Of course, you will have the system that your coach will build is for different brand voice. It's for more of general, right? You will have to niche it down to your own niche, to your own brand voice. So you have to be clear with your expectation, create SOPs and patience. Having that patience to teach your virtual assistant, know that it will be trial and error, know that they can be making mistakes, know that you have to give grace to yourself, right? Because you want something right away. Because each and every single one of us have invested in ourselves, right? If you've hired a coach, if you've, paid for systems, you expect to make money right away. And rushing it is not gonna give the outcome. It's gonna prolong your process. And it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating. I was frustrated learning that after I hired my coach, I still have to purchase a system, pay per month, and then afterwards, realizing that I cannot do this alone, all by myself. I have to get a web designer, funnel designer. I have to get a VA to find speakers. I had to, email. I have to have email marketing to marketer to message. There's just so many things. Hiring a mentor, a coach does not end your spending. But at the end of it all, the faster you implement, the faster you hire, the faster you will get the outcome, right? And this is what I've observed with clients who they launch their program, they're going up, and then they achieve the income, and then all of a sudden they shrink, they go down and say, I want to step back and I don't want to spend this much, even if they've doubled, tripled, or quadrupled their income. And then they shrink back and let me hire, something cheaper, right? If you already have systems in place, that's good. But if you're still guessing too, then you have to stick with it, because that's what the scaling is, right? You cannot go backwards unless you hire someone who's good at every single thing. So yeah, I will be dropping my link, highlevelcoachofficial.com. You can talk to me. We can sit down and check and see what systems you have in place. What are you frustrated with? I've encountered so many women frustrated in, staying in modules. Like they are stuck in modules, learning everything they couldn't implement. And I'm saying this with all confidence because I have helped clients, coaches get unstuck, because we are in the implementation side, right? Although I coach my clients, but we focus in implementation. There is no way that you will get stuck in a process. I help coaches even set their mind with their pricing, because sometimes you'll just feel uncomfortable charging, right? You have to have that person in your corner. So if you do work with us, I give that coaching as well, because your success is our success. When we see those numbers, it's a proof that our method works as well. And we have a lot of those. Actually, that's what we're doing right now. We are working on our services, and I am excited for that. We will be launching it soon, but there's just a lot of exciting things that's about to happen. But again, if you are a coach just starting out and you're wanting to get a VA, be prepared. If you don't want to go through those testing, then message me. I hope this helped you out, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.